Good morning, everyone. Topic for today's clinic is retinoscopy. So, retinoscopy is a technique used to obtain an objective refract a measurement of refractive resistance of the eye by using instrument called retinoscope. So, in the given image, you can see the retinoscope which we use. It is a strict retinoscope. We'll see the types of retinoscope and types of retinoscopy in the next slide. So, the retinoscopy is of two types. It can be either static retinoscopy where accommodation is at relaxed state, or dynamic retinoscopy where accommodation is active. The target can be near or at distance. Other types of retinoscopes are: first is the reflecting mirror retinoscope, which can be single plane mirror or plane concave mirror. The second is self illuminating retinoscopes. It can be spot retinoscope or streak retinoscope. The reflecting mirror retinoscopes are outdated nowadays. Nowadays we use self illuminating retinoscope, and most of them are streak retinoscopes. So streak retinoscope, here the light source is linear. The streak of the light is formed here. That is why it is called as streak retinoscope. The intensity and type of the beam can be controlled, and exact axis can be found easily as there is streak here. It has two systems. One is projection system and second is observation system. You can see in the image a streak is formed here. The projecting system includes a bulb, condensing lens, mirror, sleeve, and rheostat. The observation system includes peephole through which the observer sees the retinal reflex on the pupil of the eye. The principle of retinoscopy is based on Foucault's principle, where it states that the examiner should stimulate the infinity at the working distance to obtain the refractive error. The working distance is a distance between patient's eye and the observer while performing retinoscopy. Normally, we consider the working distance as 66 centimeter, for which plus 1.50 dioptric correction is to be made in the final refractive error, or 50 centimeter can be considered where the correction will be plus 2. To compensate the working distance, we use working distance lens. Instant identification of the refractive error like myopia, hypermetropia, or astigmatism can be done by retinoscopy. The fixating target is given to the patient, which should be at 6, which should be 6 by 60 in the Snellen's chart or 20 by 200. It is given to the patient to relax the accommodation during retinoscope. The patient will look at the fixating target. The requirements for retinoscopy are: first is dim lit room, the retinoscope, trial lenses, trial frame, visual acuity chart. The procedure is, we have to tell the patient about the test. We have to counsel him what we are going to do. Then the patient should be instructed to fixate the distance target. The patient's right eye should be examined with the examiner's right eye, and right eye with the retinoscope in the right hand, and vice versa. Working distance should be maintained at the arm length distance, which is usually 66 centimeter. The examiner should keep both eyes open. The examiner should stay as close to the visual axis as possible, and he should not obstruct the view of the target. Now, before putting any lens, we have to examine the four primary meridians, that is 90°, 180°, 45°, and 135°. So, three possible reflexes may be observed in the pupil of the patient. The reflexes may be with the motion, where the patient is hypermetropic or immetropic or myopic less than dioptric value of working distance, that is 1.5. The reflex can be against the motion, where the patient is myopic, which and the myopic power is greater than dioptric value of the working distance, that is plus 1.5. The neutrality, where the patient's myopia is equivalent to the dioptric value of the working distance, where the no reflex is seen. The properties of reflex which is seen, it can be either dim, where it is far from the neutralization, or bright, which is close to the neutralization. The width of the streak or the reflex, it can be narrow or wide. If it is narrow, then it is the value is far from the neutralization, and if it is wide, then it is close to the neutralization. The speed of the reflex can be slow or fast. Similarly, the movement can be with the movement or against the movement. Neutrality is the position where no movement is seen in the pupillary reflex. The whole pupil is filled with the light, and sometimes the reflex will break equally. Now, the calculations which are done in retinoscopy. So, the refractive error can be either simple spherical refractive error, that is plus or minus, or it can be astigmatic refractive error. Okay, so how to neutralize the spherical power? Suppose, take one example. Suppose patient's refractive error is plus 3, diopter spherical. So we will get the movement without any lens at 66 centimeter. We will get movement without any lens at 66 centimeter. There are two ways. Either placing working distance lens, or other without placing working distance lens. First, first try plus one dioptric spherical lens. Observe the movement in two meridians. Now increase the power till 4.5 diopters. So when you gradually increase the power of the lens, the plus lens, at some point there will be no movement. Suppose in this case the movement is completely gone in at plus 4.5 diopter spherical lens. There is no movement at this power. So now we have to deduct the working distance lens power from this final power. Like the final power which we got is plus 4.5 diopter lens, and the working distance was 66. For 66 centimeters, we have to subtract plus 1.5 diopter. So plus 4.50 minus plus 1.50, it equals to plus 3. So the final refractive power, spherical refractive power, is plus 3. Now, whether a patient is having astigmatism or not, to recognize that, we have to consider some things. If one meridian has against the movement and streaking 90-degree away shows the with the movement, it indicates the presence of astigmatism. If both meridians are with movement, and in case of astigmatism we will observe different speed, brightness and width from one meridian to other, then it suggests the astigmatism. We have to neutralize the slow movement first, and vice versa in against the movement here. So clues that can be used in recognizing astigmatism: first, the thickness of the phenomenon, the intensity of the phenomenon, the break and skew phenomenon, straddling the axis. Thickness, it is narrowest at the correct axis in astigmatism. As we move from correct axis, the reflex becomes wider. See here, the reflex is narrowest at the correct axis, and or axis there is thin reflex, whereas in the first image the thick reflex is seen as it is moved from the correct axis. Intensity, the reflex becomes brightest on the correct axis, and whereas it becomes dimmer on the off axis. Break, the reflex will stay on axis even if we rotate a streak of axis. This guide to come back on the correct axis. The skew phenomenon, if we stick off axis, the reflex will tend to travel along the correct axis. This guides us to back on correct axis. Straddling the axis, if there is regular astigmatism, when one meridian has been neutralized, the meridian exactly 90-degree away will have strongest and most defined reflex. The streak turn to 45-degree of axis both side, and if axis corrects with of the reflex will be same in these two positions. Now, how to confirm the neutralization? There are three ways to confirm the neutralization. First, we have to change the working distance. Then we have to move the sleeves up of the retinoscope, and then changing the lens. With these three methods, we can confirm the neutralization. So various cycloplegic drugs are used for retinoscopy. Retinoscopy can be of two types. Either it can be dry retinoscopy or wet retinoscopy. In wet retinoscopy, the cycloplegic drugs are used. The most commonly cycloplegic drugs which are used are atropine 1%, cyclopentolate 1%, novatropine 2%. So for every cycloplegic drug, there is some specific dioptric value which is to be subtracted from the gross value which we get on retinoscopy. For atropine in 1%, the dioptric value which should be subtracted is plus 1.25 diopters plus for cyclopentolate it is 0.75 diopters, for homatropine it is 0.5 diopters. So this value should be deducted from the gross value. Now what are the sources of errors in retinoscopy? First is the incorrect working distance. For every working distance there is specific dioptric value. So the working distance should be fixed. Either it can be 66 centimeter or 55 centimeter, depending on which we have to subtract the specific dioptric value from the gross value which we get in retinoscopy. Then second is failure to locate the principal meridian. Third is scoping of the patient's visual axis, the corneal scar which will give improper corneal reflex or incomplete corneal reflex, the small pupil, uncontrolled accommodation, cataracts, inexperienced retinologists or optometrists, defects in trial lenses, the patients which lack coordination. So in conclusion, you should do retinoscopy on every person you examine. It provides the starting point of the refraction. It estimates the refractive error in persons with difficulty in communication like babies, mentally unstable, deaf and dumb. Retinoscopy is not subjective refraction. It is objective refraction. It doesn't depend on the it doesn't depend on the patient. So it depends on the reflex which are you the observer is seeing in the patient's pupil. So it is very important while estimating the refractive error in persons with difficulty in communication like babies, mentally unstable, deaf or dumb. It detects some eye diseases like cataract, corneal abnormalities, uh, as retinoscopy shows the pupillary reflex. So depending on the pupillary reflex, you can also detect some eye diseases. Thank you.